Hi Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I'm Susan, your intuitive. Welcome to your August 2025 Leo season reading. Now, before we get into it, there's a little background noise. If you hear it, it's yard work being done next door. But hopefully we can get through it without too much noise. So we already have cards falling out. We got the Ace of Pentacles first. I'm just going to pull out a few more cards before I show them to you. So the Ace of Pentacles, well, and we'll get into the astrologies a little bit here, and then also in the second part, which is in your Patreon link below. But you've had Venus going through your 5th house. You have now Uranus in your 5th house of creativity, children, creative energy, romance, and pleasure. It's possible that through the avenues of romance and pleasure, those can be one, changing or shifted, or your relationship to them could have been changed throughout the past few weeks, and that will move forward into Cancer soon. That's Venus. And your ability to recognize how that actually brings you into a creative zone or blocks your creative zone, or all depending on which way you lean, how more than ever now, we have the cards, more than ever now, your joy, I sound repetitive like a broken record, but your joy, your expression, your freedom, if that's honoring your inner child, that is what is going to awaken whatever next venture is coming your way, whether it's to invest more into whatever it is you're doing now, or to invest in your joy, invest in your enjoyment of life, to free yourself. And that doesn't have to mean like you go on all these trips or you buy these things. This is about breaking free from the norms of day to day, breaking free from whatever mental constriction has caused you to feel like unable, unwilling, victimhood. The positive feelings, this expression, this feeling of joy, and how more insights, more revelations, more ideas are able to come, or even more efficient ideas are able to come through to you. Whether, it doesn't matter where you are, it's just that this active participating and expanding those upper emotions, if that's something that you've struggled with or have been struggling with lately. Now, this is also a Leo card, so we'll get into that as well. And how Leo season is exposing this, and then Mercury retrograde, again, Aquarius risings, this is happening in your 7th house of commitment, partnership, one-on-one relationships. And if you have clients, this is deepening your intimacy. This is vulnerability. It's not just sadness, it's not just sharing those parts of you that not a lot of people know, the parts of you that feel sacred. It's about sharing your joy, your happiness. It's about being able to be there for a little bit longer than last time. It's not something that is a goal. It's an experience. And it's freeing you from whatever mental constriction caused you some kind of suffering, especially in terms of opening your heart or asking for support. This is different. This is something where you know you're going to need that support. You know that you're going to need to learn to enjoy life in one way or another, or else in the mind we go. So we're in Leo season. Mercury's in retrograde in Leo, and we just had the Leo new moon. So this is like post-ish Leo new moon. And what you've maybe gathered is where maybe the pain in your mind, or where the constriction in your mind, or the illusion in your mind had kept you from experiencing more, from opening your heart up more, to allowing the more vulnerable parts in this way to shine. It's funny, this was on the bottom and I was looking at it. 3 of Pentacles and the Chariot. This is guiding you to be more vocal, to share what's valuable to you. whether that's already in, where you're in the relationships you're in, love relationship, your career, or whatever. Maybe it's just in general in your personal life. But this is sharing what is valuable to you, and you don't realize that how that shift can happen if you're having any imbalances, right? And exposures, confrontations, or just noticing the fixed nature in these areas of your life that are showing up. And you realize that there's so much value that the people you have in your life, that they bring to the table. And maybe for a long time, you were unsure. You were unsure of some things, or you prefer to be the person that brings things to the table, but now you have many other people. And it probably came in like a wave during Cancer season for some of you, especially in terms of your health and maybe your day-to-day work life. Either way, this is also about perhaps a mother wound, or this part of you that appears a certain way, that wants to appear stronger. And what we've learned is that safety in the self, in the nervous system, allows you to be more vulnerable. And that is actually takes a lot of strength. To listen to your gut. There's a gut feeling that you have about what it is that you bring in terms of value. Maybe it's something that you ask yourself and you find yourself feeling it and seeing it, maybe even getting specific compliments on this part of you that you find unique, that is pulling you forward, that is causing you to take a second look if there's a fork in the road. There's no wrong way. There's no wrong way. But this is asking you, and also revealing to you this month, that wherever you feel secure in these relationships and the intimacy that you've built, there will shine a light for a greater expansion in this area. And the bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Swords. What your openness does, let's just say there was a lot of hardness, what the softening into this place does, what the feeling into your joy, into being open, into sharing and being heard for these values, because you're validating them within yourself first. And now you're able to really communicate this. Really find, this brings you to any misconnection you are possibly finding at work or your day-to-day life, or even a misconnection in terms of health. So if you've been looking at your health in a very linear way, in comes something a little more intuitive. In comes emotional healing. Perhaps this could even have to do with, because we have the child and the mother out, it could have to do with that relationship between your inner child and your inner mother, or externally, if you have children, if you have a mother, whether they're alive or not, with your relation, or it could be your relationship with that person, right? So if you take it into all three contexts and witness it, there's probably a through line that can help you as well. If one area is a little bit more healthy than another, more positive than another area. But what this new moon perhaps showed to you was that great ideas also come with letting go, especially mentally, letting go of any room that's been taken up, because any idea that brings you joy, that brings you possibility, that brings you a long-term commitment to the developing of your creativity, whether it's this one thing or it leads to another, it's this long-term possibility, dream, journey through life. And the new moon was in a fixed sign of Taurus, 2 degrees, which is very personal. And your moon, full moon in Aquarius, will be at a Leo degree. also very fixed moons that feel like that, because there's this feeling that lasts longer. Even if it's just the day that you're in a certain feeling and you're being exposed to whatever's held you back, or exposed to whatever's been blocking you, whatever that expression needs to be, whatever you need to see, don't mean to rhyme so much, it's just coming to light. It's coming to connect you to the foundations that you need now. And to actively build those with your heart, right? The heart's a muscle. It's the sun. We're in the season of the sun. Leo season rules the heart. You have the sun out here, open-hearted, exposing you and helping you heal anything that's left, that's stopping you from voicing whatever it is. It doesn't matter to whom, that's going to pull you forward. Just the act of opening up in this way is pulling you forward. That's the doing. That's the doing. Maybe you want to learn more. Maybe you really like to learn about different times of life, different times where culture was created. Maybe you like astrology, right? Aquarius does rule astrology. Maybe it's some ancient whatever modality, not whatever, that you feel called to do. And I would just notice how much, where do you find yourself rolling in conversations? Where do you find yourself rolling in conversations? Or when you're responding to, if you go online, right, you're on social media, what's like on your For You page? What's your most saved stuff? What do you mostly save? Go to those videos. What is your response to a lot of things? Start to become very aware of that. That is the thread that is bringing you forward. Especially if you've been looking for purpose or wanting to feel more purposeful in your life, this is a sure sign that for some of you, you may get to a point where you've, accumulated a lot of success or wealth in a way where it brings you to that place of, okay, what does purpose look like now? Whether you've asked yourself this or not, it's just this checking in with yourself because of the direction you're being brought in now. And you have the ability to create from what you have, but this is also saying you have the security within yourself to let go. So maybe that could be also letting go of resources, maybe investing more, maybe letting go of physical objects that you love but no longer fit who you're becoming or fit the vibe or whatever it is, or you've outgrown it. Yes. This is helping you get into a very emotionally secure place within yourself. Which is where the moon fell. Moon fell in your 7th, the degree fell in your 4th. If this is about like healing your mother wound or healing these parts of you, it's possible that talking about them, whether it to be other people or to your own mother for yourself, now that's a healing practice. Maybe you write it out first. There's just some things that seems like you have to get off of your chest, and they really, sometimes when we hold in, I don't know if you find this as an air sign, when you hold in words, when you hold in ways of thought, and you only express in this one way that you've been so used to, because Cancer can tend to be a little bit more passive. So if there's any passivity to the way you're expressing, Mercury's not going to let you get away with that this month, especially it's showing up in your 7th house. So you may find this that through your close relationships, you work this out first, because this is wrapping up a 3-year cycle where Venus was in your 7th house 2 years ago, in and out of it in the summerish time towards the fall. And then last year we had the Mars, right? This Mars transit is coming out here huge. And know that Mars is in Virgo now, but now Mercury is retrograde in Leo. So we're wrapping up this cycle here, and you've had to really process your relationship from a 3D level, from this interactive level, well, it's all 3D, but all the way down to how that affects the way you act in your life, you take action in your life, where that comes from, right? Does it come from your heart, or does it come from, this is the way I've always done things, this is what I do for people? Or are you actively taking a look at, like, is this who I am now? Is this how I come from? Do I say no? Do I redirect? What do I need in order? How much time, how much space, how much room, how much resources do I need to make this dream or this idea or this next way of life possible? And if it's your relationship, you may be overcompensating your energy in your job, in work, in making money, and you don't realize how much benefit you get from engaging in your relationship and allowing yourself to relax there and rest there and find ease there. And that's a part of re-nurturing, especially if that's not something that was like in your life. So as much as you love a lot of people, you may tend to be gravitated towards, not saying that you do, I'm just saying, like, if you have a lot of people in your life, you may tend to gravitate towards the people who bring you ease at this time. Because again, you may be working through anything that feels, where you feel different, where you feel new in your close relationships. And it's not that you're not confident. This is making you even more confident in where you're going, where you're at. But you're sensitive, right? Like, most people are sensitive to these vulnerable changes, but air signs, especially, because a lot of things are very intellectual. So when it comes down to feeling through things and actively, shifting, you're not just making a change for aesthetic purposes or intellectual purposes or money making purposes or relationship purposes. You're making a change for you, for the purpose of your growth and how you feel. And that relationship helps allow your masculine energy to heal, especially if you have any issues with the masculine, maybe overcompensating with the feminine, which is why there's been a back and forth, perhaps. And you're being guided through and guided in this time in life, like different opportunities to be social come up. What do you feel drawn, resistant? Where do you feel obligated? Where does it feel like, oh, I can't wait to actually do that? And then where can you be open when you do say yes, whether out of obligation or not, to feel comfortable in yourself in those places, regardless of what transition or anything that's happening? It's that security within yourself to know that what you have is enough always, and that you are successful, and that you feel successful in your life, and that you have a lot to offer. We're going to pull the bottom, because we're definitely going to pull the bottom in the next part. We have the Six of Wands. It says, and after you go through this, any insecurities or vulnerabilities you feel, especially in these areas of your life, you find that communicating actually helps you secure yourself more. That actually communicating, instead of letting things build up, if that's what you do, or sidestepping, you actually find this directness in your communication with your significant other or with these people in your life that they probably appreciate, because it's possible that it could project outwardly if you're not addressing it. And there's just a few signs that tend to be a little bit more, passive than others, and it looks like, there's some sideways and directness coming through, but it's also learning the ebbs and flows of life and when it's necessary to shine a light, when something's important, and when something can just be left alone, right? It's learning to know and find that work internal. Like, is it necessary to be said, or am I just always saying something? Am I always am I fixing? The security within yourself is knowing that you can just show up without this or that, because whatever this Ace of Pentacles is huge. Whatever your idea or whatever you're starting to really incubate and learn and gain the energy for makes you feel so much more secure because it came through you. That these ideas are coming through you. Right? And yeah, it can come through other people, but you're actually bringing it down. Write it down. Right? Write it down. Be excited about it. Let yourself break free from any of the mentalities that make you feel less than you are. And then realize that as you show up, you have so much to offer and so much to bring to the table that you know that no matter where you bring this energy next, right? Whether it be, again, if you're at the same place, if you're not, and you're in the same partnership, wherever you're moving forward, whatever version of you that you're entering as Pluto continues to transit through your sign, that you have so much to utilize on the table, and you know that if you let go of something, you're meant to. If it comes back, or whatever comes back, maybe that's what you're meant to play with next. That's what you're meant to value next. That it just doesn't make sense that where you're at now and what you have, and it's time to see it from that point of view. That they don't connect. I did not finish that thought. That they don't connect necessarily. And it could be that you felt comfortable in a certain emotional state, or you needed to learn to feel that way. And now it feels stagnant if you don't move on it, even just a little bit. Even just a little bit. Right? There's a lot to move through with your mind. You may have needed to ask for help in ways that you were even surprised to yourself. Any armor that you've been wearing that is just meant to protect you, but not meant to isolate you. Because your brain is needed, your thought process is needed, you're needed, and you know that. But I just feel so much innovation for you in the future. And the more that you can allow your brain freedom, which is that enjoyment, is like it's brain freedom. Like feeling into moments, brain freedom, you know? Allowing things to be let go so you can get the most efficient energy rolling around you, the most energetic energy just around you, within you, so that you can transmute it in the best way possible. So this month is so much about what you can learn through these relationships that you have cultivated and that you are cultivating at this time, and recognizing when you are not in your mind so much. Recognizing what it is that you're saying and how that's guiding you intuitively to the next phase, into the next phase of your life. Into this next phase. And how you value yourself. A lot of you might need to slow down. That might be a big thing, is learning to slow down and realizing that as much as you're open right now, you may not be able to extend yourself farther than what's possible for you now. Because, well, you don't want to hurt yourself, especially your back. Season of the sun rules the back, so be careful of your back. Get the support that you need. Take that day off. Go to the beach. Whatever it is that you want to do. Just go play. Go play. Go have some fun for a little while. And know that everything is being addressed and worked through. And yeah. Go reminisce in the trust that you've built. Or reminisce. Go enjoy the trust that you've built. All right, Aquarius, we will see you in the next part, which is in the link below. That's on Patreon. And then all information to work with me is below to any one-on-one readings. I do astrology, tarot, spiritual life coaching, and I also do Reiki. All energy. and highly based off of the metaphysics. That helps me a lot. All links are below to work with me on Venusian Wave on all platforms, YouTube, TikTok, and IG. And we'll see you next time. Enjoy your summer.